very reliable leaker RJ Scaringe keeps teasing us with more and more images of R2 development, which I am just getting more and more pumped by the day for. Rivian's just built an incredible brand with amazing products. They've only got one problem. They're too freaking expensive. We can't afford to drop over $70,000 on our next cars, right? But it seems like Rivian has got everything in mind on how to hit their lower price targets for the R2, including today's latest update, which is the first R2 bodies getting an e-coat. It's kind of a electronic painting mechanism, which is a vital step for getting the vehicle into production. As the Cybertruck has taught us, paint is pretty cool. It's kind of helpful. But e-coating is also an effective way to prevent erosion on the bodies as well. It's a much more sustainable way to kind of paint the vehicle and make sure it's going to withstand the elements. And it's not an unheard of thing, of course, in the automotive industry. Lots of companies do this, but the important thing to mention from today's updates is that this is a vital step of production. You wouldn't be going through the e-coat process if you were just building a couple of prototypes, or at least not like this, where he's showing the body actually going through the whole liquid bath where they kind of soak the entire body, and it kind of gives us this darkish green color, which RJ is actually teasing us all with, saying that this e-coat process inspired the launch green that so many people loved on the Rivian R1 products, and he's actually suggesting that maybe they should bring back launch green for the R2. I think this is a fantastic idea. Just like anytime there's a new Rivian coming out, it revitalizes some of those original launch colors. I still flip out and get really excited every time I see a Compass Yellow Rivian. I wish they would bring that color back, but I kind of get why they don't have it anymore. Probably wasn't super popular among the masses, but if you're an enthusiast, it really sticks out to you. But yeah, anywho, launch green would be fantastic on the R2, and the only other detail I really wanted to highlight in today's video is that thanks to this angle of the R2 body, which we didn't see in the last teaser images, we can actually see a much larger cutout on the driver's side rear, which is precisely where it should be. And before we were speculating on the earlier photos of the R2 dies, that because we didn't see a ginormous cutout on the passenger side rear, we assumed, okay, there's probably not going to be a charge port there. But now we have a bit more concrete confirmation from this much larger cutout on the driver's side rear that that's where the NACS charge port is going to be mounted. Here's hoping Rivian can actually work on getting a native NACS port on the R1 products. I know it sounds weird to wait on purchasing a vehicle just for a charge port, but there's been various online communities where I've seen people say, I want a Rivian, I'm willing to pay for an R1, and you got to give some credit. These are expensive vehicles, so if you're going to be dropping $80,000, $90,000 on a truck or SUV, you have a right to be a little bit picky. You have a right to be a little bit of a stickler for detail and little quirks and features with the vehicle, just like how some people are willing to pay a premium for that tri-motor system, even though it's just a little bit faster than dual motor and just has a couple more drive modes. If you're catering to that demographic, it might be the kind of demographic that says, I don't want to fuss around with the adapter for the rest of my life. I am buying a Rivian, but I don't want to bring this giant old CCS thing everywhere I go. No, I just want to pull up to a charger, grab the cable, plug it in, and it starts working. And no matter how long you own a CCS Rivian, you're pretty much going to be stuck with an adapter. I know in the short term, we've got Adventure Network chargers with CCS cables, but I think long term, if Rivian is planning on swapping to NACS on the R2, the R1, and I'm sure the R3 will launch with it as well, they will probably end up swapping the Adventure Network to NACS as well. So maybe it's not a big deal if you're just planning on owning the vehicle for like 3 years, but some people buy these EVs with the intent of keeping them for 10, 15, 20 plus years. I'm just gonna wait until this thing doesn't move anymore, right? And I think that's exactly why a lot of people are excited for the R2 and grateful that the charge port is going to reach all V3 locations. I actually can attest now because I've been editing while my wife is driving the car, and when she parks at the supercharger and asks me to plug the car in, I realized how annoying it is when the charge port is as far away from the driver as possible. Basically, I have to get out of the car, then step around the bumper, grab the cable, then tuck in and plug, and it's just not ideal, okay? I think driver side rear is the best because the driver is most of the time the one who's gonna plug it in, unless it's my wife. I'm a gentleman. I don't want her getting out of the car, getting cold or getting rained on, so I'm the one who gets out of the car. But if I'm not driving, I realize, hey, this is a lot more complicated for me to like stretch behind the vehicle or go around the front of the vehicle. Sometimes you're in a busy parking lot. You just want a direct line of access so that when you park your Rivian at the charger, you just open the door, you step back to the cable, grab it, plug in, done. That's as simple as it should be, and I'm very glad Rivian came to see that conclusion. But what do you guys think of the e-coat process actually being done? This is an important step because it shows a very expensive and complicated part of the mass production process is being tested for the first time and actually being worked on, not for prototype builds anymore. This is for volume production. Does it make it feel more real? Do you think the Rivian R2 is going to be on time, on schedule? Feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.